Hi guys, welcome to the lesson. In today's video, we are going to discuss about something called oxidative phosphorylation, and this is probably better known as electron transport chain. And what we discussed in the last video was glycolysis and Krebs cycle, right? So how glucose undergoing glycolysis converts into pyruvate molecule, which is a three carbon compound. So you get two pyruvates from six carbon compounds, right? And two ATP molecules and two NADH molecules are the products of glycolysis, right? And later your pyruvate enters the link reaction, converts it into acetyl CoA. Two molecules of acetyl CoA, two carbon compound, and two CO2 are being released, right? And also, here you can also get two NADP molecules, NADH molecules. Acetyl CoA later enters into TCA cycle, tricarboxylic acid cycle, also known as Krebs cycle. And here you get two ATP molecules, two FADH molecules, and I guess six NADH2 molecules, right? So, what electron transport does is converting these high energy compounds into ATP molecules. You know, a simple example of ETS could be explaining, a scenario where you can cash a check. So, converting your checks into cash with the help of banks. Similarly, you can convert these high energy compounds, which are NADH2, FADH2, into ATP molecules. So, NADH2 gives you 2.5 ATP molecules, and FADH2 gives you 1.5 ATP molecules. But the approx value which is written in most of the books are 3 ATP molecules out of NADH2 and 2 ATP molecules out of FADH2 molecules, right? So this is how this electron transport chain is going to help you with the whole generation of a massive amount of ATP out of these NADH2 molecules and FADH2 molecules. And by the end of this video, you will understand everything you need to know about the ETS, including how electrons are shuffled through the chain and how the ATP synthesis works using a proton gradient. We will be, also calculating the total ATP production, right? So for the entire ETC, these two are incredibly important products. And why is that so? You will be, getting the idea about it. So let's get into it. So I have made this very easy for you by making this beforehand, this whole electron transport chain, diagram. I needed to design this ETS so you have an image of how this actually works. And what you see here in the middle is your inner membrane. Inner membrane, cristae. This is your inner membrane, and this is where your electron transport chain is occurring. So this alone, this inner membrane thing is where your ETC is occurring, right? These are the complexes: complex number 1, complex number 2, complex number 3, complex number 4, and this is lastly your complex number 5, also known as ATP synthase, lying on your inner membrane, right? And in the bottom of the slide represents the mitochondrial matrix, and the top of the slide you can see the intermembranous space. Beyond that, you can also say that this is where your outer membrane lies, right? So these are the complexes, these are the enzymes, and additional to these enzymes, your important this is your ubiquitin, which also helps with the shuffling of these electrons. And this is your cytochrome c. Cytochrome is also a protein which helps with the electron transport chain, which is also embedded in these complexes, helping you with the electron transport chain. So we will get into it later, but first we need to get the idea what we are going to do first. So, for example, this is the whole image I have taken from this source. So, this electron transport chain, complex number 1, complex number 2, complex number 3, and complex number 4. All these complexes are responsible for the electron transport chain, because these are the complexes which are going to help you with the electron transport chain only, right? But alone ATP synthase, alone your complex number 5 will help you with the proton gradient. So this alone is going to perform chemiosmosis, and they together, electron transport chain and chemiosmosis, will be doing oxidative phosphorylation. Okay, oxidative phosphorylation is a process where electron transport chain is occurring, and with the help of this electron transport chain you are going to make ATP. And this chemiosmosis thing also, what is this? So let's start to understand. So for example, first you need to understand about these molecules NADH, FADS2. I told you about this, that these two are incredibly important products which you get from glycolysis and Krebs cycle. Simply, you know, these are high energy electrons compound. They are carrying the energy electrons, and this will be going to transfer to your complexes and performing electron transport chain and chemiosmosis. You will be getting ATP molecules, right? So for example, this is the NADH2 molecule, and this is your FADH2 molecule, and they are going to get you NAD, 2 electrons and 2 proton molecules, right? And these 2 electrons are very important, because this is what we are talking about: high energy electrons moving into the complex 1 and being transferred from complex 1 to the complex 4. Okay, similarly, this is how your FADS2 is broken down into FAD plus 2 electrons plus your 2 protons. And this is how this again 2 electrons will be given to your little proteins lying in the complexes and being transferred to the complexes 4. Okay, so we need to understand